Hello my fellow retro maniacs and welcome to Let's Read Pokémon Gold and Silver Manual. So yeah, very annoying thing happened just a moment ago. I captured this video of me reading this manual. It was like 50 minutes long video, and after watching it I realized there was no audio. I had the wrong settings on OBS, so it didn't capture my voice nor the music. So I have to do this again. So yeah, it's not gonna be blind reaction anymore, and I'm not gonna waste too much time because I'm just annoyed at the moment. I have to do this again. But yeah, yesterday I read the red and blue manual, and like I said in my video, we can thank Pokémon for introducing me to the world of emulators and ROMs, because I think Pokémon Blue or Red was the first game I played through emulator, and after that I found SNES and other emulators as well. And like I said, this game I used to bring to my school, and we played this in school, and I remember even beating the Elite Four and Lance while my friends were watching behind my shoulder. Yeah, it was usually I who was playing. I think I never gave others a chance to play, but I think they were just pleased to see me playing, and obviously they were giving my advices, and we were all very excited of Pokemon's Gold and Silver. Yeah, I think the game actually improves many things over the first generation, and obviously the graphics are much better because Pokémon Gold and Silver only use like simple palette. It's not Game Boy Color games, so they don't look that colorful. And yeah, soundtrack wise I think both games are equally as good. But yeah, I still think obviously the first generation, the first time you play Pokemon, first time you play RPG ever, that's a special feeling. So sequel can never repeat the feeling of playing something for the first time. Even though I think this game improves everything. Although by the late, I think I played Crystal, and by that time I was already like growing out of Pokemon, and quite quickly I lost all interest because I was becoming a teenager, and being interested in Pokemon was like sign of being immature, so I didn't want to be associated with this baby stuff. So yeah, I never had such a interest in this new generation Pokemon. Like I used to learn all the Pokemon, 151 Pokemon in memory, but not the new generation Pokemon anymore. But I still think this is a better game because it has like double the size of the first gen, because you have a like new continent, Johto, and then you do the Kanto. Obviously, otherwise other way around. But yeah, it's you've got double the length of the game, and obviously more Pokemon. So yeah, it's anyway it's better game. Not compatible with Pokémon Stadium, but Pokémon Stadium 2. Yeah, I always was annoyed that Pokémon Stadiums didn't have a full RPG story mode. So yeah, it was just battles and stadiums, so it became boring very quickly. I think I mostly played the mini games and then sold the games when GameCube came out. Your adventure begins. In this world live creatures called Pokémon. Humans and Pokémon have lived, worked, and played together in harmony for ages. Nevertheless, there are still numerous mysteries surrounding them. In order to find out more about these strange and marvelous creatures, many scientists, such as Professor Elm of New Park Town, have dedicated their lives to Pokémon research. Recently, while he was busy with his research, Professor Elm received some mail from one of his acquaintances, Mr. Pokémon. The message said, "I've discovered something fantastic. Please come and see it." Unfortunately, Professor Elm was far too busy to leave his lab, so he called a friend to help him, a young boy named Gold. "Please go in my place and see what Mr. Pokémon has discovered," said Professor Elm. Always kind and curious, Gold agreed to help. The professor then showed Gold 3 Pokémon and said, "Choose one of these Pokémon to take along with you." Gold was thrilled. This was the first Pokémon Gold had ever had. Just then, Gold noticed that someone had been lurking in the shadows outside, watching all this through the window. It appeared to be a boy about the same age as Gold, so Gold decided to go outside to talk to him. But when Gold approached the boy, he pushed him backward, saying, "What are you looking at?" Who was this strange boy and what had Mr. Pokémon discovered? You're about to find out. Yeah, they didn't really revamp the story. It's almost identical, except your rival is not the grandchild of the professor. But yeah, obviously, if this game was made these days, you could pick your gender, but I think it was only Pokemon Crystal that allowed first time to play something else than a boy, But this was the 90s, when video games were meant for boys, and it was the presumption that girls were only interested in cute Barbie games or pony games, or not games at all, or Sims. You can set the game's building clock to match the time in the real world. For example, if you play the game at night, it will also be night in the game, and you may be able to find some Pokemon that come out only at that time. There are also things in the game such as Tuesday events. You can participate in the event only if you play on a specified day. Yeah, I don't know how this worked when you played this on emulator. I don't remember anymore. Does it get the time from the Windows system clock, or can you just manipulate the time as you wish? Your goal is to complete your Pokédex by collecting lots of different kinds of Pokémon. When you catch a Pokémon, its data will automatically be recorded in your Pokédex. Professor Oak, another Pokémon researcher, invented the Pokédex. Use the PC to contact him every once in a while to have him rate how complete your Pokédex is. Another goal is to improve your skills as a Pokémon trainer. During your adventures, you'll battle wild Pokémon as well as other trainers. Both battles will help you and your Pokémon become stronger. There are also Pokémon gyms in this world, each of which has a very talented trainer known as the gym leader, who for some reason only use one element Pokemon, so they are easy to beat. they were smart, they would use 6 different type of Pokemon. Only those who can defeat the gym leaders will be accepted as true trainers. However, the gym leaders have very powerful Pokemon. Well, I think the first gym leader has like level 10 Pokemon. This will be difficult to defeat. It will be a tough fight, but you must be brave and charge into battle. And this is national park music. Then we got some basic commands. Mystery gift. Yeah, I think that didn't really work with the emulator. Carl. I wonder if anyone played with the suggested name here as Taylor. Clock may not keep time perfectly. Yeah. Have to go to mom to change the clock. Yeah, this is all the same stuff. But yeah, since I didn't have the manual when I played the Pokemon games, that was completely blind. I had to learn all by trial and error. And I think I never actually paid attention to the Pokemon stats like attack power, defense power, special attack power, special defense power, speed. Even though those are quite important if you're professional. Although I don't know how can you play Pokemon against human players, because if you have a weak Pokemon, you want to change it to someone that's has an advantage, but then your friend will change his Pokemon or her Pokemon to something that doesn't have a disadvantage. So you just get into that loop of both changing the Pokemon and not even starting the battle. So yeah, obviously it's easier with the game because the gym leaders and most trainers usually only have one type of Pokemon, and they don't even usually change the Pokemon if they are in disadvantage. Yeah, I wonder if this pack uses the same technology as Pokeball, so it shrinks the size of the items, so it can fit like fishing rods or bicycles, even though it's a collapsible bike. But still, if they have technology already with Pokeballs, something. They should use the same technology with backpacks or like luggage bags or something. Yeah, select button works as a shortcut. But yeah, it's a shame that Nintendo only had 2 buttons plus start and select. They should have introduced as many buttons as Super NES, L and R and X and Y, because having only 2 buttons made it very annoying some games, because you had to go through the menus all the time, like Zelda, to change items. I don't know what was the idea behind of only having 4 buttons in the console. I think the maybe they thought that it forces the developers to make simple games, but I don't think just having more buttons make the games less simpler. It just allows them to have like better controls and more complex games, or like having shortcuts or many, allowing you to like zoom or something. I think 8 buttons is like the minimum that every console should have. Yeah, this cell phone thing, I think it was kind of like, you know, it was a novel idea, but still it was a little bit annoying when you wanted to collect like different contacts, but then they started like calling you in the middle of the game and just slows your progress when you know, bug catcher, some junior bug catcher just calls you once in a while. It becomes annoying quickly. And also this radio, that's just very like underused, because obviously Game Boy is an 8-bit console, so it cannot like have a proper radio channels. You know, if this was released on like GameCube, you could have proper, you know, radio shows or music or like dialogue, but here it was just some text and jingles. So yeah. And then we have the basic stuff. I always liked in the anime how Brock had a crush towards every nurse in every town, and Officer Jane as well. They all looked the same. I don't know if it was probably explained in the universe that they were like cousins, but it's always funny thing when Brock was blushing. Yeah, he was so horny in the anime. Bill's still back. Yeah, I thought they made it automatic to change the box by Gen 2, but no, you still have to manually change the box, lest you can't catch new Pokémon when the box is full. Department Radio Tower. Lottery-based ID numbers. I think I never won. There are some things that like are randomized, but I think some things that look randomized are actually like predetermined. I think, like when you go to the casino, even with the, you know, rewind and save states, you cannot force to win, because it's like predetermined if you win or not. I don't know, maybe it depends on your starter Pokemon or when you boot the console, but you cannot like manipulate all the stuff. I think there's like YouTube videos that probably explain or have the source code how these games work. It's probably like a PC port nowadays. Pokemon games as well. Narrator. Ruins. It is said that there are ancient ruins of something built ages ago near one of the towns. If you explore these ruins, you may find some hints to help you solve the mysteries. Unknowns. Supporting cast. Professor Elm is a scientist who has devoted his life to the study of Pokemon. Though still young, he is well respected by others researchers for his amazing discoveries, such as Pokemon evolution. Professor Oak, a longtime friend of Professor Elm. Oak is the acknowledged leader in the field of Pokémon research. He knows a lot about the lives of Pokémon and will check to see how your Pokédex is coming on. Your mom. Mom is very easygoing and loves to shop. She'll save some of your money for you if you wish. And then we have these items. Yeah, I think when I used to play these games as a kid, I hardly ever used like some of these items like Dire Hit or X Attack. I don't think they are all listed here. The item finder, I remember using that a lot, but it kinda gets annoying because if you get obsessed of finding items, you just waste so much time of checking each corner with item finder. I think there's also like Superior Rod. They're keeping some of these as like secrets. They're not telling each item. Yeah, this berry thing, I think this went quite nuts in later games. Crystal and I think Pokemon Emerald. Everything was about berries and berries. Yeah, they had a character limit extended in this game, but still it's only 12 characters, so they have to shorten some words. King's Rock. Yeah, I think I never used this one. Can't remember where you can get one. There is a berry that turns into a Pokeball. On your journey you will find some places where fruit-bearing trees grow. There's an artisan in one of the towns who will take the apricorn from one of these trees and turn it into a special Pokeball. If you find him, ask him to make one for you. It's said, however, that he will do this only for someone he likes. If you take an apricorn from one of these trees, a new apricorn will grow back by the next day. Some but not all moves learned with a technical machine can be used both in battles and in the field. Yeah, this was like a new thing, I think, for Generation 2. And Headbutt, you need that for that one Pokemon that looks like a tree. I can't remember its name. But yeah, I think yeah, some of these HM moves were quite useless in fights like Flash. It just felt like a waste of teaching, keeping a Pokemon that has it. Yep. When PP reaches 0, the Pokemon can't use that move anymore. Yeah, they're not telling the fact that if you run out of all moves, then it defaults to that. What's the move? It's like flinch move, and you can actually like certain situations soft lock the game if you cannot die. And your opponent cannot die, so just get stuck in a fight that can't be winnable or cannot be lost. Pokemon gender. Some Pokemon are neither. Yeah, in the first generation it was only in Nidorina and Nidoran that had gender, but here, well, I think Ghost Pokemon don't have either. Paralyze poison. Pokémon type your advantage. Fruit-bearing trees grow in various places. The berries that grow on these trees have different effects, such as curing poison or paralysis. If you let a Pokémon hold one of these berries, it will be able to recover when it receives damage in battle. There are also some items other than berries that Pokémon can hold. Bug catching contest. Let's just take a look at some rare Pokemon. Headbutt. Based on how you set the clock at the beginning of the game, time in the game will pass just as this does in real life. Also, different types of Pokemon will appear at different times of day, morn, day, or night. For example, a Pokemon Hoot Hoot, trademark, seems to be a nocturnal and will come out only at night. Even if you've been to a certain area before, try going there again at a different time of day. Was it like true that the morning has different Pokemon than day? Because morning only takes a couple of hours, so I don't know. First of all, place the weak Pokemon first in your battle lineup, then immediately switch to another Pokemon as soon as you enter battle mode. As long as you win the battle, even the weaker Pokemon that didn't fight will receive a portion of the experience points. This takes a bit of effort, but by repeating these steps, you can slowly but steadily increase the level of a weak Pokemon. Yeah, I realized this as a kid, even without telling. It was always nice when you like fight against gym leader and put a like very under-leveled Pokemon, and then it levels up like 3 times in a row. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Pokemon you receive from a trade receive a larger than normal portion of experience points when they win a battle. Oh, that would have been nice if only you could trade in emulator. Evolution Stone. There are other ways they can evolve. Daycare. Togepi. Was this the Electabuzz baby? Gym leaders. Every leader is a tough, specialized trainer. For example, one leader may be an expert with bird Pokemon, while another strikes with ice-type attacks. However, if you are able to beat a gym leader, you'll receive an official Pokemon League badge as evidence of your impressive victory. Wearing these badges gives you some sort of effect. They don't tell the type here, but you can kind of like deduce it from the name of the badge. So like mineral badge, it's a ground type, and glacier badge is a ice type. Yeah, obviously they had to program some limit. For example, if you trade a Pokemon that is on level 80, that would make the game too easy to beat. So that's why you can't use 30 plus level Pokemon before. Ecruteak City. Yeah, only after Blackthorn City you can even use level 100 Pokemon. And I think you need Waterfall in order to get to the Elite Four. And I don't remember what. Can you escape actually from the continent before even beating the Elite Four? Yeah, there's Link Cable stuff. You cannot have Link battles with red, blue, and yellow versions. If you're trading with red, blue, and yellow versions, pick the recipes time capsule. Pokemon that evolve. Yeah, I had the strategy guide for Pokemon Gold and Silver, but only after I think I had beaten the game, so I didn't get spoiled. But yeah, this all like useless stuff when you play with emulator. You can trade Pokemon that do not appear in the red, blue, or yellow version. Also, Pokemon with moves that do not appear in these versions cannot be traded. Well, that's kind of annoying, because how should you know what moves were introduced by Gen 2? There should be like it should have been made that the moves are that are not compatible with both versions are like erased automatically. Just someone who can make your Pokemon forget their moves. Yeah, you have to go through the trouble of removing moves. You should be able to do it in a Colosseum. Sometimes the receptionist at the time capsule won't allow you to start even though your Pokemon appears in the red, blue, or yellow version. If so, the Pokemon must have learned a move that does not appear in the other versions. The Pokemon could forget that move. You could trade it at the time capsule now if only there was someone who could make your Pokemon forget their moves. I wonder if you can like trade corrupted Pokemons like Missingo. And what happens if you like corrupt the Cable or Infrared? Maybe it just cancels the trade, but it would be interesting if you could like have corrupted items or corrupted Pokemon just by twiggling the cables or connection. Or the cartridge. Yeah, mystery gifts. Never seen that screen. Pokemon Pikachu 2 GS. Was this like a Tamagotchi or something? I think I don't know what this is. Was this some kind of mobile add-on? Printing. Why would you want to waste ink and print? Well, I think it doesn't use ink, but still. You can also print mail and Pokemon status. Maybe you can print other things too, like those unknown puzzles, I don't know. You have to play the game to find out. And then there's just notes. But yeah, this manual doesn't have like shortened strategy guide like the first generation manual that like teaches or like holds your hand until a Pewter City. So yeah, it's. But yeah, that's all there is. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.